What is going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar, and welcome back to the Pokemon Draft League Viabilities. Now, this week, there's going to be 2 uploads because, and I'm actually pretty excited because we're covering one of my favorite Pokemon in Draft League Viability and a pretty cool Mega that is not very seen that often. However, I also have a guest with me who happens to be one of the sexiest people alive in PokeTubing.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Berk.
Yeah, I was like, you were supposed to talk there.
No, I was giving everyone the face.
Your face wasn't showing yet.
Oh.
It's okay.
I tried.
It's okay.
I tried.
However, you guys have been saying for a while that you wanted to have another person on with me, so I was like, why not start with one of my favorite people in the community? So, Burge is who I settled for. And...
Oh, settled.
Oh,
not even who I chose. Who I settled with them.
basically.
All right.
But anyway, today we are going to be covering Mega Gallade. Now, what is your first opinion of Mega Gallade, Burge?
It hits really hard. I actually really like Mega Gallade. You don't see it much.
Really? You actually really like it?
Yeah, I think it could. It's very straightforward. You know, either wall breaker or sweeper, but it can work really well around a team built around it. Fighting in Psychic, very good stabs, and you name a switch in. There really aren't many besides like Mega Sableye.
That's true, and even then, it has cool coverage, you know, with like knockoff. It has priority and Shadow Sneak, and it's not the type of sweeper that you can just send it in and you're worried that it's gonna die. Because it has, like, what? Is it base 115 in special defense? Yeah, it's base 115 special defense. So,
and 95 defense,
yeah, so
which is
it's pretty
a lot better than regular Gallade.
Yeah, definitely. Along with having access to, like, believe it or not, it actually has both special and physical setup, so that base 65 special attack can be bulked up, you know, with Calm Mind.
If you ever want to run a Mega Gallade Calm Mind Sweeper, you go for it. Listen, I've seen some weird things in my time with leagues. I've seen Calm Mind Mega Medicham, so Calm Mind Mega Gallade.
Oh my god, Mega Medicham. I still cannot believe that. But this thing actually gets really cool coverage. Like, Close Combat is obvious for a stab. Knockoff is really cool because it speed ties with the Lottie twins. So in, like, draft formats where you normally have to watch out for speed creeping on things like that, and the fact that base 110 is a fantastic speed tier. It's especially for like a Mega, because you can't hold an item, so you're right above those base 100s, so you don't have to worry about them outspeeding you, and you only really have to worry about Scarfers. So I think that's a really good speed tier for a Mega.
Yeah, like a lot of what you want to outspeed is the base 100s, just because there's so many of them. And a lot of Megas actually speed tie with that. Mega Charizard Y, Mega Gardevoir, Mega Medicham. They're ones that speed tie with the 100, but Mega Gallade actually gets that plus 30 in speed, which really puts it above a lot of very hard-hitting Megas, which this one's also extremely hard-hitting. Not quite as wall breakery as like its relative Mega Gardevoir, but
that's arguable.
It's not helped out by its ability much.
Yes.
As Mega Gardevoir is.
However, you have to think. Mega Gardevoir gets Hyper Voice, which, yeah, that's basically just as strong as Close Combat. But walls that are resistant to Close Combat, they're weak to the coverage that Mega Gallade gets. Like, Psychic and Dark, they're super weak to knockoff. And it has base 165. Like, base 165 attack. Like, even then, there's nothing really that can wall it.
And priority.
Yep.
Very important for something. Even with just base 110, even base 110 speed, it's nice to have just a little bit of priority. Shadow Sneak's not the best. I think like something like Mach Punch would have been a little bit better. Just stab priority. But it does get Shadow Sneak, can deal with other opposing Psychic types pretty well.
And I think my favorite set of Mega Gallade that I personally have used, I used Mega Gallade in the LBA season... I forget. I forget what I used. But I used like a Spadef bulk up because it has base 110 speed. It's so fast that it outspeeds like uninvested base like 60s and things like that. And I think it's actually uninvested base 75s. I want to say. I actually want to double check that because let's go with that. Uninvested 50 versus a, let's just say Embor, because I know that has a pretty decent speed stat of 65. Yeah, like it uninvested outspeeds max speed Embor. So that's pretty cool to know that you can actually bulk up on that, live a hit, and then hit back super hard. And then it has reliable recovery in Drain Punch, which is pretty nice.
Super reliable.
Hey, I mean, in stab after a bulk up, it becomes reliable.
I mean, sub bulk up Gallade is just a very common set to see, just regular. But then you add 30 defense to it, and then 40 base attack, and 30 speed. You're looking at a pretty scary subsetter.
Not even, and then I think what makes it even cooler is the fact that the wall cores that you can build around it, they're not really limited, because this thing's weaknesses, they're kind of sort of all over the place. You know, it has fairy, it has flying, a ghost.
Yep, fairy, flying, and ghost.
And it's not weak to dark because of the fighting typing with the psychic. So you can really build any wall core around it, like just a good fairy and steel, which every team now is wanting that dragon fairy steel core. Every single one of them.
Yeah, and I know I said like its ability doesn't help it out too much, but the good thing about it having like in its base form at least having justified, and the fact that it's a Mega Stone can't be knocked off, you can switch in. It can help deal. You can build a little bit more of a knockoff weak core, because then you've got a very good knockoff switching.
That's very true. That's very true. But what kind of cores would you like want to draft around with a Mega Gallade?
Well, to help complement like the flying weakness, you want to draft like the flying and fairy. You slap a really good steel type with it. Ferrothorn. You can put like Heatran, all of those very good with Mega Gallade. And then you put something to complement that. Gastrodon is another really good thing to help deal with like weaknesses of like the Ferrothorn, Heatran. You want to build a really good steel fairy around it. Dragon, not as necessary. But having those two, and then probably a good dark type just to help deal with the ghost resist.
I think probably my favorite steel type to go with Mega Gallade would easily be Registeel, because whenever you think about it, a lot of steel types don't get access to really cool status like Thunder Wave, but Registeel is so fat it's not being taken down, and you're able to Thunder Wave the things that outspeed it, which then mean that Mega Gallade can easily kill it because it's so strong, or it then becomes setup fodder for like the bulk up Gallade. I also really like trying to pair it up with something like a Florges, because that can Wish Pass to it and keep it healthy if Drain Punch isn't enough of reliable recovery. You know, I really like that, and it can also cleric the status off of it, which I really like about like the Florges Registeel core.
Yeah, that's just a really good core to build around something like this. You know, those can take the hits that Mega Gallade can't, and then the things that want to wall the Florges and the Registeel, Mega Gallade just switches in on and says, "Have fun dealing with me now."
Exactly. What kind of sweepers would you want to pair this thing with?
I think a really good Dragon Dance sweeper would be good with this, because this can help break apart the wall cores to then make room for a Dragon Dance sweeper. Feraligatr is absolutely scary with this thing. Like, you have a Feraligatr and a Mega Gallade. It is so hard to wall those two, especially after you punched holes with Mega Gallade. Punching holes. God
damn it, Berk. God damn it, Berk.
You can also pair a really good special sweeper if you somehow are able to get like maybe one of the Lotties. I know it's also psychic, but you get one of those. You just really any good fast special sweeper is going to work very well with this, because this can also break apart like really, really fat special walls, which I know you like Umbreon and Blissey and Chansey. This thing has
you forgot Mega Audino.
Mega Audino. Well, I like Mega Audino, so. And anything like that, granted not Cresselia, but, Psychic.
Even then,
type.
Knockoff does a decent chunk to Cresselia.
Yeah, it does, but then, Mega Gallade doesn't really want to take a Moonblast and all that, but...
True. Yeah, Knockoff does 37 to 44% to fully defensive. That's not bad damage at all.
That is definitely not bad.
Considering that's a Cresselia. One thing that I think Mega Gallade is almost in need of is a really good priority user.
Mm-hmm.
Because while really good, especially offensive mons are awesome, like, I think even like a low tier Hyper Voicer, like Pyro would be awesome to hit behind subs to get damage off on things. But something like a Diggersby to quick attack things, to break sashes, to make it so what can switch in on Mega Gallade, and if it somehow lives a hit, it's not going to be living with much, no matter what it is. This thing is an easy revenge kill, and it really complements with what it can do. Even Lucario with like a vacuum wave type thing is really cool for this. I really like the way those two even mesh together, even though they're both fighting types. They do completely different things, and I think that's really cool. Azumarill, same thing. I really like them.
Yeah, I think another thing it really needs, or really likes, is having a lot of hazard support. Having a lot of things that can put Stealth Rocks, Spikes, T-Spikes, any of that, Mega Gallade appreciates so much, because that will guarantee the OHKOs that it needs to really wall break. So something can live on...
fits really well with this thing, because it can take the fairy hits and set up the hazards, be a really good fairy killer. Scolipede and Mega Gallade would be a really cool core to have.
And then you baton pass speed into Mega Gallade.
Stop! That's broken. That's broken.
And then you're dealing with something at +1 with base 165 attack, and then you try to deal with that.
That's so... Oh my god, that's so disgusting. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else that you can think that Mega Gallade would really need? I think that Mega Gallade likes having a bulky pivot to go with it too. Like a Tornadus Therian. I think that's a really cool combo to have with it, because it's bulky enough to where it can force in something, you turn on out, get a little bit of chip damage, break some sashes, then you can just drop in Mega Gallade and it's a powerhouse. Same thing with like if you're looking for like a low tier one like Electros, same thing, just a bulky pivot.
Yeah, I think it really appreciates that like a slow Volt Switcher, a slow U-turner, a slow Baton Passer. They take the hit, you send in Mega Gallade, now able to just punch a hole in something.
Yeah, like Rotom, that'd be really cool. Ooh, that'd be awesome. But, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, get your cores here now, people.
Basically. But that's basically it for Mega Gallade, I think. Can you think of anything else?
Nope. Great Mon. I think really underappreciated in League format. You don't really see it much.
No, I can't really think of how many times I've seen it. I've seen a couple people draft it, but then they ultimately dislike it because they don't have a team that works well with it, because it's kind of like one of those offensive mons that people think that they can just slap on a team when you can't.
Mm-hmm.
You have to build around everything on your team no matter what.
Yeah.
So what grade would you give it?
Well, Mega Gallade's really good at what it does, but it's very straightforward mon. If you've got something to counter it, like a really bulky ghost type, then it's not too much of a threat to your team. Mega Sableye, one of those really hard counters. Crest can walt pretty well. So if you've got a really bulky psychic type, a really bulky ghost type, knockoff hurts, but not too much. So I would give Mega Gallade, I'm going to say a B+. I think it's something you can really build a good team around, but you have to build a good team around it. If you don't, it's going to really, really suffer.
See, I was going to give it a B+ as well, for kind of different reasons. Mainly because everybody likes to have their certain offensive cores in League format. Like, so many people go into a league saying, I want to draft Terrakion. They do the exact same thing. I want to draft Kyurem Black. They're similar because they hit very hard. They're weak to the same typings. And you can't stack like weaknesses like that. So it's really hard. You have to make sure that you don't compound with it, and it just becomes a hindrance sometimes. But I think that it can be a very good mon as long as you're careful with your typings on it. And I think that's the main thing that Mega Gallade needs, is just somebody who's very aware of their typings that they're drafting with.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 B pluses. That's actually pretty cool. But right about now, I'm going to be popping up a little screen, probably over Berk's face. Sorry, Berk, you're on that side. Of what we have so far and the rankings and things like that, or the grades. But I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please make sure to leave a like down below. Leave a comment with your opinions, all your grades and reasonings and things like that. And also, in the link, there will be in the description, there will be a link to Berg's
Berk, Burge,
Bork,
Bark. I've heard everything.
There will be a link to Emily's channel. So please make sure you go and subscribe to him and check out his awesome content. He's the champion of his league that he started, so that's really cool. And go show him some love for me.
Really? You had to go with that one?
I had to. It's all I could think of.
You couldn't think of Berk, but you thought of Emily first. All right.
Yes. Hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.